Hey everybody, I'm here today to talk to you about 6 common causes of a car not starting. If your car doesn't start, then it's most likely because of one of these causes. Now, these are not the only causes for a car not starting, but they're definitely very, very commonly the reasons why a car will not start, why an engine will not start. Now, let's get right to it. Number 1 is the battery. Now, the battery is definitely the most common cause of a car not starting. And most of the time, a battery can be solved with a simple solution of jump starting the car. Most of the time, if the problem is with your battery, then you just jump start the battery and the car should be able to start. Most of the time. There is also another thing. Maybe your battery's not dead. Maybe the condition of the terminals or the posts on the battery aren't in good condition. So sometimes there's a lot of corrosion that forms on those terminals and on the battery posts. And what happens is that corrosion prevents the electricity from making its way to the components of the car, which prevents the car from starting. So number 1 is a battery. Number 2 is the alternator. Now, this is also a very common reason why cars will not start. Now, the alternator is basically what charges up the battery. So if your alternator is not working properly, then your battery is not going to be able to get enough charge or enough juice to send it to the engine to start it. So once again, the alternator is a very, very common reason why cars will not start sometimes. Number 3 is the starter itself. Now, the starter is it plays a big role in starting the car. Pretty straightforward, pretty simple. Now, what can happen is the starter can be bad in itself, or sometimes the starter can even hit a bad spot, and it will not start for that moment because the starter hit a bad spot. Now, what happens is there's usually a few warning signs of a starter going bad, but when a starter fails, it's like you just go to start your car and it won't start. It's not like it slowly starts to fail. You know, you have a few warning signs most likely, but then boom, your car just doesn't start because of the starter potentially. So with that being said, that brings us to number 4. Now, this is definitely not as common, but that's gas. Now, sometimes cars don't start because there's not enough gas. And here's why it's more common than you actually think. So you would assume that if you're low on gas, you're like, you know, your car doesn't start. You're like, oh, okay, well, I didn't have enough gas before, so obviously that's why the car isn't starting. But here's the thing. A car's ability to run requires much less gas than a car's ability to start. Meaning, you can drive and you can be very low on gas and your car can be running perfectly fine. And you're thinking, okay, I'll just start the car in a few moments and I'll go to the gas station after I make this pit stop. What happens is you go to start the car and it doesn't start. And that's because your car requires quite a bit of gas, a significant amount of gas to start. And with that being said, you might just not have enough to be able to start it. Number 5, the 5th common cause of a car not starting is the fuel pump. Now, the fuel pump basically pumps the fuel, which is very simple. So maybe you have gas in the car, maybe your battery's charged, your alternator's working fine, your starter's working fine, but your fuel pump isn't working fine. And what that means is that the fuel pump is what sends the gas, and if the fuel pump cannot send the gas to the components of the engine, then the engine can't get enough gas to start. So it's as simple as that. And number 6, the last one for this list, is a wheel lock. Now, when people think about wheel locks, they usually think about the little wheel locking nuts that you can find on wheels to make sure that, you know, you need a special tool to remove the tires and the wheels and so forth. But wheel lock can sometimes happen when you shut your car off. So you can actually try this to show yourself what wheel lock is so you know how to identify it. So when you shut your car off and you pull your key out, turn your steering wheel, and you'll notice that your steering wheel will lock. Now, if you go and try and put your key back in, your key might not be able to go in, or it might be able to go in, but you might not be able to actually turn the key until you turn the steering wheel. So if you have trouble turning your key, then give the steering wheel a turn to the left or to the right, and then try turning your key simultaneously, and it might fix the problem. And that's basically it. In this video, I've gone over 6 common causes of a car not starting. If you like this video, be sure to give it a thumbs up. Let me know what you think down below as a comment. What are some other causes, common causes of cars not starting? Has your car not started before? What was the reason behind it? Let me know as a comment down below. And of course, be sure to subscribe for more great car and driving videos just like this one. And that's all I have for you today. Thanks for watching.